Old sip of water to keep me from coughing. We'll do news, some interesting things happening. Also, I'll give you a little update on Scooter. He's gaining a little bit of weight. We're trying to get him up to about 55 pounds. He was 49. That's been his average weight since he's been an adult. But I'm going to try to get him up to 55. We walked about 6,000 steps a day, and he still wanted to play. So the old boy's going to beat this thing, I believe. So let's get to some news. Florida Republican Congressman Vern Buchanan. Let me roll out here just a little bit. Um, he represents the suburbs of Tampa. Um, he's the seventh congressman in his state to back former President Donald Trump. So the governor's not getting his support from his congressman. Uh, we already knew, and you don't need me to tell you this, that President Trump's base is going to stick with him. But I think his congressman may be a very astute when it comes to politics, and will be far better off to have a Trump DeSantis ticket. Trump can only be in there for 4 years, 4 more years, and then the governor would take over, and that would give 12 years of the Trump administration. And that would make it virtually impossible for the next president to come in and overturn everything on day one like Biden did. President Biden probably, someone told him to do it. I don't know who he gets his orders from, but they're not coming from common sense. Ed Musk's Starship explodes midday during the first test flight. That's a big bird. It's 400 feet tall. The worst of monuments is only 555 feet, 500 inches high. So a lot of money went up the smokestack, but we've had setbacks before, and we'll come back bigger and better. Now, President Biden, it's hard to believe this guy's not smoking pot. Um, pledges $1 billion for UN green climate funds. Let's take care of our own climate. We got people, homeless people. Some are druggies, some are crooks, and some are just people in hard times, sleeping on the streets, under bridges, Los Angeles, Oregon, Washington, every major city. Let's take care of our own people first and quit chasing this fantasy bird that the Democrats have. They're so involved with this just to think that they can scare votes away. I mean, the world is round. China is using the hardest coal to the environment out. What does it take when China starts the coal furnace up? Uh, 12, 20 hours for it to come around the earth and be in our backyard. Um, looks like Iran um, is going to shut down growing calls for referendums on political reforms. Well, they're dictators, and until someone knocks the door down and kicks them out, you're not going to get no justice over there. Now, this is kind of sad. I like Dan Bongino. I don't think I'm saying his name quite correctly, but close enough for a dollar. I like drinking out of pewter because it keeps the water cold. I'm not drinking right now. Um, but Dan Bongino is going to part from Fox News. He's been there for many seasons. I thought he was very articulate. He does have a lot of experience. He was a New York cop. He was worked for the Secret Service, and so you don't get on unless you got a good background. Let's see. Okay, Fox News has end this relationship. And look at us, we done a minute ago. Uh, former Minnesota policewoman Kim Potter, she was sent to jail for 5 years for accidentally shooting a suspect. Now, the man was more than a suspect. He had a warrant out for him. He resisted arrest. Everybody is sorry it happened. The man did not deserve to die, at least not from what we know right now. But that's he has to take some responsibility. His family does. If he hadn't resisted arrest and had paid his tickets, this would never have happened. Now, this lady officer, it was an accident. Why would you send her to jail? I mean, he's not going to bring the life back. But she looks like she's lost 40, 50 pounds in jail. And she does not look very healthy. And some I was coming from because she probably feels bad about taking someone's life. Now, Alex Baldwin, I like his movies. I think he's a great actor. His politics, my politics, go in two different directions, I believe. But the manslaughter charges have been dropped over the shooting. Other charges could be coming forth. The prosecutor said it was because of other developments the last 2 weeks. I would say that if they don't go to trial within next year, by that time, people spread all over the country, memories get fogged up. So I don't think it's going to be much of a change. So it's going to be handled in a civil court where you only have to have a preponderance of evidence. And so that's not going to go away. So we can rest assured he's not going to get off scot-free. But we are sorry that an accident happened on the set. And okay, I want to do some quotes today on Harry Truman. Also, some of my own quotes that I have on cowboyron.com. And I have on cowboyron.com quotes by Cowboy Ron and quotes by people like George Washington, Andy Jackson, John Wayne, Yogi Bear. He's really good on putting quotes out. But Harry Truman was a man of the people. He never took the long way around the barn. If you thought you were a crook, he just say you're a goddamn crook. If you didn't tell the truth, you're a goddamn liar. Excuse my French, but that's what he said. But we see corruption nowadays. You become a senator. 6 years later, you get a senator goes in for 6 years. The third of them run for election or re-election every 2 years. But they come out after 6 years, they're rich. Harry Truman, after 6 years, we ran for re-election going through Missouri at fairs. He had to sleep in his car because he couldn't afford a motel. Can you imagine being a United States Senator for 6 years and don't even be able to pay for your hotel? He was a very brilliant man, but he only had about a high school education. But he was a great reader. He had read over 3,000 books by the time he got out of high school. So one of his quotes I like, it's amazing what you can accomplish if you do not care who gets the credit. Well, that's the way the man thought. He just wanted to get the job done. Nowadays, if you make a mistake, you give the credit to everybody else. Says if you can't convince them, then confuse them. That was some of his tactics. And he says, in Washington, D.C., if you want a friend, get a dog. Another one of his quotes, he says, it's a recession when your neighbors lose his job. It's a depression when you lose yours. A lot of these comes from Barney's quotes, and I like Barney quotes. He talks about the atomic bomb. He says, atomic bomb was no great decision. It was merely another powerful weapon in the arsenal of righteousness. And he made more big decisions than any president of the United States. Atomic bomb killed about 250,000 Japanese men, women, and children. But the Japanese would tell you today it was probably necessary because the country was being ran by radicals that would not negotiated. Plus, it would have taken about 1 million of our boys to have done that. And I'm sorry it happened. I hope it never happens again. Okay. I wrote this when I was trying to figure things out one time. I said, in Washington, D.C., we have the best and brightest that money can bribe. That's not the one I was going to read. Um, when you know you don't know, you're starting to know that you do know. That got a lot of hits on my cowboyron.com website. And this one here, I really believe in this. For those who say there's nothing in outer space, then it's in our DNA to go out there and see what nothing looks like. We're adventurers, we're explorers, we're risk takers, and that's what we do best. Well, until next time, me and Scooter saying so long, and talk to you in a couple days. And please come back, bring your friends.